In marriage, you're not just married to one person, you are married to a whole family. Welcome to the Save My Marriage show. I am your host for today, Vivian Bwana. This is where we talk about everything and anything marriage, deep, raw, real. This is where we are authentic.
Yes.
And before I go even far, y'all know I have my co-hosts with me, starting with right there on my left, the Bwana of the BB. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Anthony, pastor, creative, founder of Code Group. And I love everything design. And you can see here.
Yes.
It looks good.
But of course.
Yes, my name is Nessie Lee, CEO and founder of Levi Organics, a wife and a friend to these amazing people who have just introduced themselves.
Yes.
And yes, next to me is,
The one and only.
yes, Wakanda forever.
I'm Alvin Lee. I'm a fitness entrepreneur, founder of Gamba Games. I'm in charge of everyone's health and fitness.
Yeah.
I'm the one you call ASAP. I'm also a creative and I'm the husband.
Aww.
Amazing woman here.
Thanks.
Yeah, guys. So thank you so much, guys, and welcome again to the Save My Marriage show. We are here at Highland Suites, right along Chania Avenue. Listen, this place is warm. It is cozy. It is quiet. The food is great. If you know me, you know me
he's
is
a
food.
foodie.
So I will tell you that food is great. The service is great. Please make sure you come and step by, pass by, check them out, and have an amazing time over here. And by the way, this is where we talk about everything. Did I say that?
Everything.
Like we talk about everything.
Emphasizing,
yes.
Everything. And we are real and we are raw and we are authentic.
Yes.
Sisi ndio tuko.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real, like sisi ndio tuko. So today, we are talking about something that I think has been a pain in quite a number of marriages.
Yes.
That's true.
Our in-laws. Our in-laws.
Motor
Are we in love with them? Are we calling them in-ravs or are we calling them in-laws? Who are they? Who are these people? And before you even go far, I am 100% sure we had conversations about in-laws in your bridal showers or before you got married. I think that's where I want to start from. Like, what are the things and rumors and myths that you heard about in-laws when you were coming into marriage?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Who looks ready?
Who looks ready?
Me,
Who
I'm
looks ready? Yes,
Yeah.
Nessie. Yes, Nessie.
So traditionally, in most marriages, we've had a problem with the mother-in-law.
Yeah.
There's always a story of the mother. We even had a TV show, The Mother-in-Law. You remember?
Yeah.
Once upon a time. So there's always been this notion that the mother-in-law is going to give your marriage stress. Like she's going to impose her ways into your marriage. She's going to be clingy to her son. You know, that kind of thing. So what happened is when I was praying for my husband, very important, pray for the person you're going to marry.
Oh, yes.
Even when he's nowhere, if you're single,
Yeah.
as single as a strand
Yeah.
of hair. When you're still single, that's the time to pray for your in-laws.
Yes.
So I was very deliberate on praying for my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, Sir Jesus, I am not going to suffer what everyone else is suffering. Like, I'm not going to have a problem with my mother-in-law, or when she calls, I feel offended. When she's around her son, I feel offended. Because that's her son at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing she will ever do that will change that.
Yes, yes, yes.
So for me, I would pray for a good relationship with my mother-in-law.
Wow.
And I can tell you for a fact it worked. And I'm so grateful to God for answering that prayer.
Hallelujah.
Because my mother-in-law is my favorite person. Like she's like me.
Yeah.
So we relate so much. She's very lively. She's very like the smallest of things make her happy, which is exactly how I am.
Yes,
Aw.
yes.
So we are so tight. We are so close.
Like
Like
making me miss my mom.
she's so amazing. We have to call after this. She's really the best, and I'm so grateful to God for that. And on top of that, I realized that, well, this is something Alvin told me that he
Yes.
was told by his father. When you marry just what you said, when you marry your family, when you marry someone, you're marrying the family.
Yes, yes.
So this is going to be your father-in-law, this
Yes.
is going to be your mother, this is going to be your sister-in-law.
Yeah.
So you have to pray for all of them.
Yeah.
And I have no sisters biologically, like I have no sisters. But when I got married, I gained a sister, Ivy. So we also have a really good relationship. Like she has an older sister now, I have a little sister, and it's like, it's just so nice. Me, I can't complain. Me, I don't know in-law issues, by the way. I can't relate.
On my side, what Nessa just said, my father told me this when I was in another relationship before I got married. I was like, Dad, this is the woman I want to marry. I was like, okay. Just know you're also married the family. That thing got me thinking, because at that time, that was the part that was blurry. The girl, good, but now, even if things were okay between us, just know about the family. And it sucks that can be one of
make or break.
It sucks that, but that's a reality at the same time, you know. And when you told me that, I had to really think about it. And I don't, the stories I've been told about in-laws has been in Nigerian movies growing up. And mainly not for the man. Okay, for the men has not been really spoken about so much, but it was always the ladies. You're joining this guy. So coming from the mother of the husband. That's your first opponent. You're going to,
and that shouldn't be the case.
And for us on the, I'm not gonna lie to you, that was the only advice I ever got about in-laws. Other than that, I've never had anything for a man, like you're going to face your in-laws and all that. One thing I would say is, for the man as a husband, visiting the in-law, the things that tradition has in there that I cannot just come unannounced. And then it taught me something whereby I gave myself respect. Because I remember I just wanted to drop by her place. And my mother was like, no. In our culture, he has to say it's coming so that they prepare to receive me as though as a king. I was like, hey, shit! I know. And so if it's reverse psychology, then it has worked. I actually have to make sure I say, by there I would want to,
I'm visiting.
I feel.
But I think at that time, traditionally, it was not at just to give you, to chocha you or anything like that, which is good. I'm glad you're chochwad. But
you're trying to rubbish, man.
No, your uchochi matters. Your uchochi matters. I'm so glad. But initially, it was to have that boundary of respect between men. Like, this is my territory. When you're coming, you don't just show up. This is not your
home.
So my father as a man and him as a man, they have to have some, decorum. So you can't just pop in, and my dad also can't just show up in my house and he's come to see me as the daughter. He doesn't work like that. There's some respect that will never happen. First of all, even if you invite him, my dad will still fight you. I don't understand why.
But anyway, that's what I know about in-laws. But as she said, pray for the family you want to go into, even in your single.
I think I also have almost the same kind of experience where I don't have really much of a crazy example of such, but I've had people complain of, you're going to the wife's side, there's of course the notion of the mother-in-law, but then there's always a sort of fear around the man, because maybe if the girl has brothers who are a bit elderly than the past. So it almost feels like they will always never look at you as, whether they are married or not, they will always look at you different.
That's
true. In a way. And I think these are some of the conversations that I've had before. And lucky enough, is in my situation, my story is completely
it's different.
Wow.
Prayer works.
Prayer
works. It's a hit that normally maybe meets the ladies more. Because as we find a way of going past that easily, but as you say, you mentioned a very important point. We need to always pray. As you're praying for your partner, praying for that family as well, because you're going to connect with the whole family. That person, the lady already has a relationship within that family. You get, and so you getting the person, you're not only snatching the person. No. We are building a culture, you're growing a community. And so when these things happen that way, it becomes so easy that you find yourself dealing with lesser issues.
That's true.
I would say that my encounter for any in-law friction was actually the process of getting married. That's it.
Of which there was healthy bullying.
It was healthy.
Healthy bullying.
I knew it, I was like, okay, Let us just enjoy. Yes.
It takes understanding,
okay.
yeah.
I think I'm suffering. I'm not suffering.
No, let me give context, babe. I'm the only daughter, the firstborn, and me and my dad are really close.
My friend.
So you're going to have a small fight, bro. Like it's not just going to be okay, take her, I can't wait, you know.
Yeah.
There was like a small, he wasn't too happy about it. And like I understand, like even you, when Samara is getting married, there'll be a cutting. She might be marrying Bill Gates' son, but there'll be just that cut thing. You're just like, Aki and Nani, this is my daughter. I don't know what goes through their minds. You guys can tell us.
Connection also.
It's the connection, yeah.
Yeah.
And knowing how men are, you just you're worrying. Okay,
It's a risk.
You know what's funny? It's the same thing with the mothers. They also know how women are.
Yeah.
They just because for me, when I brought Nessie in, actually before I brought Nessie in, I took other two people. Hey.
The mom was like, hell no.
My mom kept quiet. When it was over, I was like, the only thing she said was, I knew it would never happen. And then when I brought Nessie, it was Easter, Sunday or something?
Yeah, it was
Easter something.
Sunday.
Easter. Hey, I've never seen my mom so happy like that.
Aww.
Oh yes, then she tells me,
favorite.
she calls me Baba. So like, Baba, let me tell you, why I have to be hard on the woman you see is because your happiness is may be determined. It's actually going to be determined by the person you bring in. And so that was very important to me. But now when I'm getting to Nessie, like when I engaged her, there was drama from our father's side. But
my dad could not believe it. He was in denial.
I think he was underestimating my speed.
Yeah, because when I started telling him about I'm dating, like now I'm dating seriously. Okay, I am dating. I am dating, okay? So this one, I am dating differently. Just know, I want you to meet him. I was like, no, culturally, I only meet the parents. So, he's a younger, there's that whole level thing. And I was like, okay, sour. Now I'm engaged. And he was like, wait, what? Like there was like a shocker at the beginning. He was like, yo, this is actually happening. He was not too happy about it.
Then they gave me a date for a traditional wedding. And I was not yet prepared. In 3 months after.
Yeah. So I was like, yo, you're serious? Okay, you're welcome to come.
It was the first test.
Yeah,
bro,
let's see how serious you are.
Wow.
You can't just propose and we sit here for 1 year.
Then going to meet the elders and the uncles and all that. I would say that was very important. Yes, there are different types of marriage, AG and all that stuff. Traditional wedding. Because of that journey, you feel that weight. Of marriage. Yeah, like, wow.
If you disappoint me, you disappoint my whole clan.
Yes, because even the people I brought, I have uncles who had to come with me, I had cousins who had to come with me, they have sacrificed and everything. So this is heavy. So before you even say that I'm divorcing, you're like, let us
remember.
Can't go back. You know?
Accountable too.
Yeah. I think for me, one of the most hard of advice in terms of in-laws is, you gotta put them up at a distance. You gotta push them away. They gotta know their boundaries. It's almost like it is poison having in-laws in your marriage, which was crazy for me because I think the first time I was taken to Anto's family, I got the best reception ever. In fact, I was wondering, is this how it normally is? Because there was all this pressure from society in terms of how it's supposed to be and process and all that. But then when I got there, the mom was so loving. The dad was so amazing. I was just like, is this
You're waiting for the other shoe
me? I'm
to
waiting
drop.
for drama. I'm waiting for all these other things, and there's nothing. And then we went along this whole process, and there's this whole mother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, and there's this. They are made to be like in Nigerian movies, like you're saying. They're meant to be this evil, poison things that are meant to. Their aim is one: ruin your marriage. That's their whole intention: ruin your marriage, frustrate your marriage. And so, coming into this family, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm so loved in this family. It feels so weird.
Yes.
This is not normal. And so society had put this whole thing for keep them at a distance.
Yes.
Be careful with them. Or they are going to pretend. They want to control your finances because they believe you're taking the finances of their child away. There was this all
I think people need to be very careful about what is in the society that you're letting into you.
Into you,
Because you
exactly.
can refuse these things and be like,
Exactly.
yeah, it happened to you, but not to me. Like,
Exactly.
it's not going to Peter,
Yeah.
wherever that line is.
And I think there's the blind spot, the blind spot where we don't see that at the end of the day, these are still relationships.
Yeah.
Just like marriage is a relationship, these are still relationships. I can choose to have a relationship with my mother-in-law, and she's amazing. Let me tell you, there's a time I was unwell and I had gone for a surgery, and then I couldn't do anything. My mother-in-law came, she helped clean the house. She cooked for me, stored food in the freezer,
In-laws can be
made sure the house was clean, washed for me my clothes. As in, she did all that, and I was just like, what? As in, it was so, and my husband at that time was not there, he was at work. And so it was just me and her in the house, and asking me, what do you feel like eating? What do we need to get?
you really
What do you feel like doing? You need to, don't do that, give the baby, do this and do that. And I'm like, this is relationship.
Yeah.
This is somebody who society had told me, keep 50
evil.
kilometers away from. You get? And then my sisters-in-law, oh my God, they're also so amazing. Like, I give birth, they all have turns to come and clean the baby. Like, my work is just to sit there because I know Susie is coming to clean the baby. Beatrice is coming to clean the baby. Like, it's like this kind of community that I got into.
Yeah.
And it's like an adoption of a family that
Which is what it should be.
which is what it should be.
Yeah.
Like, I was literally adopted into a family.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I felt like I am home.
Exactly.
I am home. I don't feel like there's any conversation I cannot have with my mother-in-law. And so society made me feel like I needed to treat these people as enemies.
Yes, I think most of these in-law issues come from status, financial status. If you come from two different levels,
Yeah.
culturally,
Culture.
Yeah,
culture,
exactly.
all the culture, as we do not
We do not
Not
patana,
tribalism.
exactly.
Yes,
Tribalism.
that's what happens, or any history a family has. If they're once criminals, or if there's a criminal that comes from there,
Yeah.
or if they are known
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah.
And that's actually why traditional marriage takes a process. Like as we lose, and we have that Tedo thing whereby she has to come to my side to cook. But all along, it's also a place to just observe.
And vice versa.
Yeah, and vice
It's
versa.
more, it's more of a cross-examining.
Yes.
Exactly.
Which is actually
So
it's
important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
So
you get
important.
to know, you got to know the person more. These people begin to know this person.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
You have to.
But the problem is the intention, as we were saying. Those are the things that now comes in. It looks like the situation where in-laws are too tough and stuff. They are going with an intention of, if this one can't do this, he's out to come.
Yeah.
And it's not even a matter of considering we are building a relationship.
Yeah.
It's this person and our son building a relationship, and
Yes,
so
yes.
they're
You have
also
to
beginning to
support.
connect with that side.
Yes.
That's how.
I feel like some in-laws impose their own securities onto.
Insecurities.
Yeah.
Yes,
That is
exactly,
funny.
exactly.
And that is very, very sad. Like if you have, like, let me say, if you have an auntie who is single or who got divorced and anything, the first thing she'll give advice during that ceremony is,
Some
do you
toxic.
see her with a map? So as I'm going to come and beat her up.
Yeah,
Those are important
exactly.
also.
Yeah, they're important, yes, but as in, we can tell that where it's coming from.
Exactly, exactly.
And I think guys also need to, if you're single, you're dating, you also have to visit each other's families.
Yes, very
One,
important.
to get the vibes. Because if they don't like you
important.
then, when you're dating,
It
Aki
will
and
never
Nani,
happen.
I don't think you can even buy them a private jet and they like you. Like, just go and feel how they feel.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable? Do they feel comfortable around you? And it's okay to not, like, blend at first. That's just your signal. You take it. Are you ready to live with such in-laws, or do we end this thing? You see that kind of thing?
Yeah.
So it's important to go pick that vibe from, if you guys are serious, that is.
Yeah.
So if it just clicks immediately, you all are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it goes back to being intentional about wanting to form a relationship with the intended place you are going to.
Yes.
Or the intended, because you're going to be interacting with these people for a long time.
Forever.
Like forever. Like these people are going to be in your space forever. You can't avoid them. Oh, there's a wedding,
You're there.
they'll be there. Oh, there's a funeral,
You'll be
they'll be there. Someone is unwell,
You're there.
you're there. Unless, of course, you have a toxic kind of relationship. And I guess that is another aspect. I know all of us seem to have had a good wonderful relationship
Thank
with
the
our.
Lord.
We thank the Lord. One thing I love about my mom and Anto's mom is they are friends.
That's the
The same
thing.
thing,
That's how it
that's
should be.
They call each other. In fact, my mom will call me and be like, I have not spoken. Now my mom calls Anto's mom my mom. And she's like, I've not talked to your mother for a while.
you're confused.
I'm like, wait,
Aren't you the one?
what? Yeah, I haven't talked to. And then they visit each other. They have their own things that they are doing together. And I'm like, that's the best I could ever wish for.
That
Where
is
both my
such a
mothers are the best
blessing.
friends.
It's a blessing.
But then there are some people who have actually had toxic relationships
Yeah.
with their in-laws, toxic relationships even in their upbringing. And so even as we take a short break, I would like us to come back
Yes,
and
yes.
talk about how our in-laws actually affect
Affect.
our marriage.
Very.
Do they not? Is it real? Is it
Yes.
not real?
Yes.
Are we faking these things? Are these conversations not true? Let's get back after the break. As I sip my juice. Welcome back to the Save My Marriage show with the Lee Buanas. We are having an amazing time. We were talking about in-laws and we were talking about the things we have heard about in-laws from Nigerian movies and experiences and all those things. And we have established that the people in this show have an amazing relationship with
We
their
thank God,
in-laws.
though.
Oh,
They need
yes.
to find out the secret in how they're doing that
Yes.
later in the show. But first, one of the things we wanted to talk about is how do in-laws actually affect marriage?
Yes.
Is it a thing? Is it our imagination? Is it real that in-laws actually affect our marriage? I
Yes.
think let me start with Nessie.
Nessie has a few things to say.
Speak,
Starting
child.
with, I know they are painted as evil, nini, but honestly, having in-laws can actually give so much solution to your marriage.
Yes.
Like when I visited him, things start making sense. You're like, oh, no wonder. No wonder you're like this. Because I've interacted with the family. I know that this is just their thing. They usually talk like this in their family. Like for me, as we are very, oh, I love you, call you later. Oh, you're such a blessing. You know, always, we're always like, oh, honey, how are you feeling now? When someone is sick, we move heaven and
Honey,
earth
honey,
for your
honey,
comfort. Now you see, for them, it's different. It's tough. Like, even if your leg is broken, can you just do
That's
something?
tough.
You know.
Stuff.
So there's that. You get to understand. Oh, no wonder he has a hard time taking care of me when I'm sick. Because then I'm expecting him to be like my mom. Like this is what people do when someone is sick.
Yeah.
So me, I'll be there sick. Homie does not care. I'm just like, no, you don't.
I
You don't
don't know
show
how
it
to
the
act.
way. Yeah,
The way she-
the way my
Parents,
mom
yes,
shows it to me. My mom will check up on me every 2 minutes. Are you okay? Is the pain still there? Feel it? Okay. If it continues for the next 1 hour, we go to hospital. You see that kind of thing?
Now Nessie makes sense. Like
You see?
Nessie makes sense because that is so Nessie. Oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah.
Can I come over?
I
I'm
know
bringing
it.
you food. Oh my God,
telling you.
I'm just like Nessie.
Where it come from is you did not sleep under mosquito.
Yeah.
What is the solution?
You fell down. Why did you walk there?
It's because you're watching too much
Why?
TV.
Exactly. It's because you're not putting on a sweater when you went out.
Running around, you know.
Exactly. So it was so different. Interacting with his family made me understand. Oh, so then they don't do that. Okay, now I will not expect him to just take care of me. I'll tell him. I'll ask him to,
actually-
babe, bring me water. Babe, bring me this.
I don't know how we show that we're caring is maybe take your making sure you do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and
take your
that's so
medicine.
tough.
Let's go.
I just
to
want
the
you to
clinic.
talk to
You
me
know?
nicely.
You know why? Because for me, when you're sick, my mom will. You're the one to do some of the chores in the house, so you need to be active.
Yeah.
That disease comes out.
Let me tell you what my mom-in-law says. I refuse to be sick. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Refuse.
And actually it has helped because I know many situations where I actually worked out. I've actually worked when I'm sick and I recover faster.
Wow.
Because for some sicknesses, it needs you to be active. For
And
like a
some
flu,
require
you
you
actually
to
need
be-
to sleep.
Yeah.
But theirs is tough love. Our love is actually like, you know how I show love to people is dissing them.
Yeah.
That is in our family.
Oh my
Not me, when you diss me, I'm
God.
just like, why?
Why?
So you just say you love me. No,
Yeah, we
like
can
when
say
I
that,
talk
but-
to my sister-in-law and I'm like, okay, Ivy, I love you. It's like, okay, bye. And I'm like, no, I said I love you.
Yeah.
So she has a heart and she's like, these I love yous came juicy. For me, I've been I love youing from the time I was in the womb, fam.
Yeah.
Like, it's so different. So
You've
now it
been
makes
love
sense.
bombed.
Yeah,
from
I'm
birth.
like overloved.
Yes.
So now it makes sense. Why? Like, anyway, my point is, in-laws will make sense of your
Yes.
situation.
Yeah.
To build up on her point is when I got married to her, now I started comparing my family and her family. And there are things she appreciated of my family, like, oh really? I didn't know that was that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
My side, mostly when we went through something, there's something we really went through and it was tough. But I appreciated 100% what her side brought to the table, how they showed it, because now I'd started softening her side, you know?
Yeah.
And then seeing her in-laws, I mean her people who are my in-laws, they taught me, just observing, taught me how to love her.
Yeah.
'Cause that's how she
Wow,
grew up.
that's
Exactly.
amazing.
Understand
That's
that?
good. That's
So
good.
it's, in a way, literally saves your marriage.
Yeah.
If you have interact well with your in-laws, you
Yes.
save your marriage.
Yes.
Wow.
It's the whole thing of going back to the source.
Yes.
That
the
was the
place you
source.
draw from.
Yes.
You get to know the source.
Yeah.
So that once you understand the source, it will be so easy to understand
That
what
person.
comes out of
Yeah.
it. And I think that's
Yes.
just what you're saying. I think for me, it's just also, as you're saying, you're just talking and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
this is not strange.
Yes.
It's familiar issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are moments where it could be like, it would leave the house and
Yeah.
we are okay. We meet outside and we don't greet each other.
Yeah.
We didn't greet each other in the house.
Okay.
And it's just okay, you know.
Yeah.
We meet somewhere, play football, and you know, we don't even say hi, you don't even say you, but you woke up in the same room.
Yes, yes.
So such things affected how we view, when now in a relationship, how you view this other side of the person.
Yeah.
And so sometimes they deny us to allow that side of the other person. I remember
Yes.
when my wife used to she kept asking me, Niaje, uko wapi? And for me, whether it was a phone call or a text, I was like,
What the hell?
I will be coming home. I'm not seeing
Must I
anyone.
report it?
Exactly. Must I be? And then the kind of work that I used to do, sometimes you're frustrated with something, it's trying to just fix something, and it needs you hands on. Your hand is here,
Yeah.
and your other hand is doing something,
there.
you're sketching something.
Yes.
It's not something that I would just say, let me text.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
And so for me, looking at that phone vibrating on the table, I would rather even take it and put it in my pocket so that it doesn't distract me.
Yes.
And
Yes.
once I'm done, I'll text back. But
Yes.
then once I'm done, I'm texting her.
She's
And
already
it's like
2 hours
I'm
later.
responding to like 17 messages. Then coming to understand her side of family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
They keep accounts.
The mom would text Vivian and just find out, are you okay? So now there are questions that she would ask that we'll just want to know. I'll just know that she's just a caring person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She just
Yes.
wants to know, and that's how
Yeah.
probably they've created the relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
On how they, a mother would love a daughter.
Yeah.
For me, it was different, but then learning how the mother now behaves or interacts with her, and even myself,
Yeah.
is what made me start realizing, okay. And as you're saying, it softens something within the man.
Yes, it
Because
is.
mostly on our side, and it's
Outside is
again
hard.
back to the daughters, the beloved for the father, like the girls,
Yeah.
it starts from that place.
Yes,
Because
yes.
when that happens, the boy doesn't see that always.
Yeah.
And so that's why we will have the same experience with so many people,
Yes, yes, yes,
the
yes.
men. But you guys is different because the father always showed that kind
That-
and you
Yeah.
realize that a relationship where probably the father was absent, it's a bit different. It's
Yeah.
now the wife who's a bit
Yes.
and
Yes.
so you have to try and be soft.
Yes,
And so
it's
again,
true.
that's where
It's
I go
true.
back to saying is trying to get to
Get the
understand
Yes,
these
yes.
Yeah.
situations. Know that person properly.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
learn that person so that when you're building a relationship, such things doesn't affect how
Yeah.
Yeah, this in-law thing actually made me identify the good things in my marriage, which I took for granted, and then the bad things that now, if it bothered me, it's me now to change it. Because now my side, I see how the father calls her, the mother calls her. I say, I miss my dad. Let me call him me.
Me.
We miss each other, but we never express.
Yeah.
And actually, that's something that has affected my marriage.
Yeah.
To be honest, we can miss each other, but it's not going to be expressed by picking up the call.
And
I'm
call
like, what
and
do you
call.
mean?
It remains in your head and
today.
feelings.
It's concluded in the head.
That
miss
we have
each other.
missed.
Which is so bad.
It's so bad, you see. But now that we see that, okay, now I try. Like
You're more
I actually
intentional.
had an alarm, which I'm still working on. Sometimes I respect it, sometimes I don't. Every Friday, 4 p.m., talk to my sister, my brother, my father, my mother,
Hapo kwa father.
and then my mom. Like I legit have to try and communicate. But it's because you see at that what I noticed is when I was at home, before you leave home, my mother said, "Hey, Alvin left bitter." I used to say, "No, man, I just want freedom." But now that I think about it, I might have left saying, "I cannot wait to leave this house." So actually, we left with a bitter taste.
Yeah.
So now that thing, it leaves us with a bad taste in our mouth of how we interact.
Yeah.
And so I would say, me seeing them, my in-laws have affected me in a way that now I'm correcting those
yeah.
things. How I'm communicating with them and all that stuff.
Very important. Wow.
I think you're talking about how the in-laws, like how the in-laws taught you how to love her, and how we are also choosing what we are bringing into our family.
Exactly.
And that is one thing we are not seeing.
Yeah.
Because then if I choose to block out my in-laws, then I will never know
You'll never
the
see.
What the
good.
generational curses
Yes,
are
what
and stuff.
exactly. Spend time with these people, find out where this comes from,
Wow.
and see how it's affecting your marriage, and then
Yes.
see how if it is something you want to change, is it something you want to look at it different, is it something you want to keep on?
Yeah.
Because the truth is, whether we like it or not, it's our past, it's our bringing, that's our environment, that's where we come from, that's
can't
our
change
roots,
it, yeah.
and you can't change it unless you want to be deliberate about
Yeah.
it. But then the question is, now as you come to marriage, you ask yourself, what are we pulling from that side and putting here and saying, this
continues.
we are continuing.
Yeah.
Because you shall be in-laws as well.
You shall be in-laws as well, exactly. So what kind of in-law family are you
Are you
creating for your
creating?
kids? What kind of in-law families are you family are you creating for your kids? As I'm imagining my son, I'm trying to raise him up to understand different culture, people have different tastes and blah, blah, blah. And I'm also trying to raise them up to also be authentic with who they are. And so I'm imagining them coming into a marriage and one day they come and tell me, "Mom, this whole calling us to find out if we're okay, we've decided it's not a thing for our family. So we'll be communicating maybe once a month."
Wow.
What will you do?
Yeah.
Because you can't be that mother that now says, "That's never gonna happen, I'm gonna call you every day." And this is somebody you've love bombed. My brother says I love bomb my son too much.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, let me just feel his
We're here
tongue.
for it.
Because one day he'll be a teenager and he'll not be interested, and then at least I will have filled his tank till
For the rest of his
35
life.
years later. But yeah, so the question is also, what kind of in-laws are we
Going to
becoming?
be.
Because you're gonna be an in-law.
Yes.
Some of us are in-laws. Wait, we are in-laws.
We are
We are
already.
in-laws.
We are
Each other's
already
in-laws.
People's in-laws.
We
Yeah.
are people's in-laws.
Yeah.
And so even as you're raising your kids, what kind of in-laws do you want to be? And so how do we put that in effect starting now?
It's habits and the practice, like the habits of keep checking. Like
On
also
each other.
myself, like there's a habit I'm trying. I don't know how to, but I'm trying to. How often should I reach out to her parents?
Yeah.
Her brother, I talk with her brother online and also, but that because I'm trying to also build that up. I know I'm going to be an in-law that communicates. There's something I learned about our marriage. On our wedding day, the reception, there's that dance at the family. When my father came in, her parents came in, people are like, "Oh my God, these families blend." You actually can't tell
who's mom,
who's mom,
right.
who's
Yeah,
father.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's
So
very true.
that actually touched my heart. I was like, we must continue this. It doesn't matter whether they are white, our kids marry whites or a different tribe or anything. We have to make sure it's a
blend
vibe
so well.
and
Yeah.
it blends that way.
Yeah.
And that comes again with just constant communication, brave communication, confrontation, and then just sorting out issues. More so when it comes to in-law issues, how I would want to solve certain issues that will come up is them. before it goes deep. And when you're sorting it then go to the depths that it would go.
Yeah.
But as long as it's just been sorted immediately.
Yeah, and with respect.
With respect, of course.
Yes.
With respect and humbleness, which is hard, but yes.
Inabidi. When my
Honor.
grandma passed, my mom was like, she was just wondering if she'll ever be as good a mother-in-law as she was.
Aww.
So my mom is always actively just being so nice. How's Alvin, my son? How is my son? But I just feel like, oh.
That one, like her mother just saying, Alvin, my son, I'm taking
You feel so accepted.
It actually affects me
There's
in
that
form.
acceptance, yeah.
It's nice.
Okay, we're coming back. We are picking it up from here. And one of the things we want to ask ourselves is there a need to draw the line when it comes to in-laws? But we are picking up from where we left from, and we'll see you right after the break.
Oh, yes.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back to the Save My Marriage show with the Lee Buanas. We are here at Highlands Inn, going deep, going raw, going real about the in-laws. And just before we took the break, we were asking ourselves, what kind of in-laws are we gonna be?
Yeah.
And Nessie was just sharing how her mom really wanted to be an in-law, like the way her grandmother was to her. And for me, that is generational, and it's so amazing. My husband, what kind of in-law do you want to be for Samara's husband?
looking at how my dad used to, like the guys who are, because I have two sisters, the guys who came in.
Yes.
So far,
Yes. Yes.
I saw how he treated them, and I was amazed. And he was very intentional that this is something you two want to build. I remember him saying, this is something you two want to build, and so you have to be intentional about it. You have to guard it. But then, what for me just was amazing is he never tried to impose culture or a background of what he knew about it. He never tried to bring culture or tried to bring anything that he knew behind, which was the past.
Yes.
For him.
Yes.
And that for me just was amazing, because something that might be good for me right now might not be the best.
Yeah.
There might be another level of understanding, of communication that they can build as a culture. And so for me, it's just the place of relationship, getting to know each other better, but then also allowing the two to grow. So that whatever they understood before about about culture, about whatever. So allow them to build a culture
For
that
themselves.
is super culture than that.
Yeah.
That's why personally I say normally as a Christian, aim to create or grow a super culture, a kingdom kind of culture. That is ours. You see.
Yeah.
But then when they have this as a foundation, then they can build better.
Apple, you've spoken for 12 people.
Yeah. I think just to add on that, we have to get to a place where it is okay when our kids coming and saying, this culture, I know it is something we've had, but in our family, we have decided we are not picking it up.
Thank you.
And we have to be okay with it.
Thank you.
Like, we gotta be okay with it. Like, if me over calling and over texting and over finding out where you are and over, if it becomes a pain and then it becomes an issue in my son's marriage, then he has to come and tell me, Mom, this is becoming a thing that is not.
They'll call you clingy.
Yes, they'll call me clingy, exactly. They'll call me clingy. Oh my God, when I took my son to school, they had to literally kick me out because the boy was crying. Yeah, the first time I was taking him to school, because I was taking him to school, and then they were like, okay, so you can go home. So they took him from me, and then Jade started crying. My instinct as a mother is, come, I will console you. And they're like, no, you make it worse. You need to leave. And I'm like, no, wait. And then I just saw my son go away. I was there, and then the principal was like, honey, you need to get another child. This one is ours now. You're done. And so now I have to accept that a time is coming when these mothering overbearingness
will come as well.
You know,
to
And
let
you
go.
start relating to your mother.
Exactly.
It's important to know so that you don't make them have a difficulty.
Exactly, yeah. And so if he ever came to me and said, Mom, this culture, we are not bringing it into our family, and I'm sure he will have valid reasons.
Yes,
I should be able to say, okay,
Yeah.
I respect that. And so when I go visit, then I have to understand I'm in a different culture now.
Oh, yes,
I'm in a
yes.
different environment.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
This is his space now. And so I have to respect that which they have put in place. I don't go there and start imposing.
Yes.
But when they come to my home, well, I'm just gonna be mama.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna be mama, but I'm gonna still be careful
Yes.
not to bruise, to bruise them or any kind of thing.
Yeah.
I also would want them to be comfortable around
Around
me,
you,
to
that's
be able
true.
to talk to me about anything.
Yes.
I mean,
Wow.
that's the best we can be. That's the best mothers we can be, and sisters-in-law and brothers-in-law, right? Right? Yeah. And so then the question for where do we draw the line? I think I would. One of our viewers had a question.
Yes.
I will ask Nessie to please.
Yes, the viewer is saying, they're first asking us to talk about in-laws on the next episode, which is what we are doing right now. And what do you do if you have a mother-in-law who is clingy to the son? And how often should in-laws, moms and dads visit? Third question, this is a 3-part question. Number 3 is how do you bring it up in the conversation? Like, how do you tell your partner you're uncomfortable with the in-laws without making them feel like you don't want the family? Yes.
What's the background of this person?
Hapo sasa hatutajua, lakini to answer is that one, you have to respect that this is their parent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they have a relationship. They've had a really long relationship.
Yeah.
Before you came, they were there.
Life relationship.
Life
It's life.
relationship.
Yeah.
So you have to respect that. Secondly, you have to use wisdom. How you're going to bring up this topic to your husband.
Yeah.
Because like you don't know how, maybe they're super close. But even this guy you're marrying should know that as you're entering his life, you are now number 1.
Yeah.
Whether he's known the mom for 15 million years,
Yep.
now you take first
Yeah.
position, mom
Yeah.
becomes number
That's
2.
true.
And the baby comes, mom becomes number 3. Because mom had her time to be number 1 also.
Yeah.
So how you bring it up is using wisdom. You also don't want to bruise him. You don't want him to feel like you don't, just as she's asked, you don't love the mom. So you just say, babe, first of all, make sure you read the situation. Don't go when he's still hot and tired or from work. Make sure it's during a fun,
It's even
light
hard.
moment.
It can kill that fun.
no, but it's better
Yes, yes.
when you're in the right mood, you bring it
Yeah.
down, than
Yeah.
when you're in a bad
Yeah.
mood, you're taking it to door, So you bring it up and say, I love when she visits, she's so helpful,
Start
but
with
I'd
the
really
positive.
appreciate if we had our own time. Like, can we have a timeline, nini. I don't want you to feel like I don't love them, stuff like that. Like, just,
Yeah.
one, you have to communicate about it. Don't think your husband will know, like, them, they're just living life and they think you guys are okay and you enjoy having the mom around. So if you don't tell him, he won't know. So you start by telling him. How you tell him is calmly, in a nice way. Start with compliments, say what you love about the mom, and then the but, and then finish with what you love about their relationship as father and son. I mean, mother and son, and how you want to have that kind of relationship with your son. Chocha them a bit.
I think also it's from the place of learning your partner. I think it's a lesson that we all need to really learn your partner, build the relationship, so that even in such a situation, it's not so hard for me to provoke a
communicate.
conversation.
Yeah.
That would be the first point. And so the level of relationship that you have with your partner will determine what kind of conversation
Exactly.
will look heated or will be easy to talk about. You will even know when should I actually talk to this person. How should I? There's a place of culture of honor and all that.
Exactly.
2, let's understand the titles that we cannot change. Your mother is your mother.
Is your mother is your mother.
And is your mother.
Is your mother.
And you will be a father to your son. Those things don't change.
Yeah.
And so let's respect that place. And again, when we are having a healthy confrontation or conversation about these things, make sure that is still
there.
And again, I think even from us, when now we are talking about these titles, the other one that I want to mention is a husband is a husband and a wife is a wife. And now you're no longer just a son to your mother, but you're also
A
now
husband to
a
your wife.
husband to your wife.
Yes,
And so when these things begin to make sense, when you start understanding these titles pretty well, it becomes so easy to solve certain issues.
Yes.
Because someone will begin, like it will crop up in his mind, and I'm like, okay, I'm actually a son. I'm actually a dad. Yes, I was a son, because our parents will never stop looking at us.
That's true. That is so
It
true.
will not change. Those are the facts that I'm saying. Those won't change. But then we have to now realize that we have actually moved to a stage, and now we are in a higher stage where we are now responsible and we have to build another culture, bring up another community, family. And so if you don't step up to the place of a husband, or the woman don't step up to the place of a wife, where you're taking care, you're finding out what's happening, you're around your husband, you're being that edge, and the man is not being, and as the man, you're also beginning to know your place as a husband, doing everything around what you should be within the culture that you're building, knowing who you are as a husband and the things you need to do. Once we step up to those positions, it becomes so easy to solve such things. Because one, they might even rarely happen if at all it's not good. Because there's also the good point where you see them, as she was giving a scenario where my mom came and just stepped in, and I was
that's a good thing.
That's a good thing, and you won't fight that. But so, and I'm sure probably from our view, it was from a place where now it was raising concerns.
An overstep or
Yes,
something.
Overstepping.
And I think that's probably what we need to see how best we can begin solving from how we build our relationships. And I'm pretty sure that right now, if we are to talk about such a scenario, if at all it was to happen, or it might happen, we would easily have a great way to solve it. But even with the relationship that we have built with our in-laws, like our mother-in-laws, it's so easy to bring it to solve. It's so easy, because they would know their boundaries. And I think I will talk about more on healthy boundaries when we're looking at creating such boundaries. You know where you're reaching as a mother or a father, and also you know where your stands are as a husband and the person of the house. The woman being the manager of the house.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Anto brought of knowing the relationship you have with your partner, and that should be taken very, very seriously. And as a partner, that should be your intention, to learn your partner, create a space whereby you can talk about anything and everything. And so you can even use reverse psychology, or not that, or making your partner understand without even the use of manipulation. Just making your partner understand, man, I really love and I dig our space. I really love your parents and all that stuff, but don't you think, Maze, they just come here
and announced?
Then it's a bit say, hey, Maze, yeah, man, hey, that's true, babe. And because your partner is seeing how much you honor his parents, how much you honor your relationship, and so it will also be much better for that to be portrayed, for that to be convened through the husband to the parents, because that's what they know immediately. Because if it's through the wife, the in-laws may take it a different way.
That is so powerful. So he should speak to his parents.
Speak to my
it shouldn't come from me saying, Mom-in-law, I don't want you in my house anymore, because now that's rude and disrespectful. It should be, they already have a relationship. So it would be easier for him to tell his mom, hey mom, why are you always here? As per their relationship. And the same for me.
And it can even be a joke whereby, hey mom, one day you'll come here and you'll find us on top of the table.
Issues come up when now, either if it is, for instance, the woman having such a situation, it's because also the relationship between the woman and the mother-in-law was never built.
Maybe, yes, as well.
Because in retrospect, if at all it was a situation where they have a relationship, she
shouldn't be a problem.
Actually, that's true. No, even with relationship and the mother keeps coming, my friend, it can still come up. It can still, but it will just be easy to talk about it.
I think at the end of the day, I would tell her that it is important that she sits down with her partner and they discuss their family backgrounds and see what they are bringing to the table and how it's affecting, because that's one thing we all assume and ignore, that you think the way you've been brought up is not going to affect your marriage. It will. Your culture of your family will affect your family.
Culture is so important.
And so I would advise her to sit down with her husband or partner and then let them talk and figure out, where is this coming from? Why would I feel like your mother is clingy? And let's go through my past, let's go through your upbringing, let's go through my upbringing, and let's see how this is affecting this, and this why this doesn't make sense and why this does make sense.
That is so important, especially if we are both from different cultures. Like us in the Luo culture, we do this. You guys in the Kikuyu culture, you do this. So it's a... We need to, I need to understand the Kikuyu culture and how women come and live with you after you've given birth or something like that.
Like
and then, your other culture where women are just left to do their own thing, you know.
But it's also very important because you're drawing the line, right? As the couple here, we have to know we are also building our own.
Exactly.
So even me, an advice to the husband, I would say, okay, yes, my mom, I love her very much, but also now start knowing that your wife is the new person here and she also needs her space. She's also building her space with you, and you also can control what is coming in and what's going on.
I think that will be a good space for them to ask our final take home from today's episode. I think I'll start with Anthony.
Buona.
Yes.
Yeah, for me, cultures will influence our marriages in one way or another.
Yes.
But can we agree that when we marry, let's build relationships, let's pick what we feel is good and bring them to the table and talk about them. Like we used to talk about so much between the two of us. How do you guys do this? Or how do you handle things like circumcision and stuff?
Yes.
And now we are two different people, but then we are beginning to pick what works. Like we're transforming that which is there so that we build our own. That for me would be my take.
Amazing.
That's great.
Amazing. Yes.
For me, I would say in-laws are not necessarily toxic.
Yes.
They are not here to ruin your marriage. They are not here to disturb your peace. It's just how you communicate about what is going through. Everything boils down to communication. Remember what I told you in that other episode? Communication is so important between each other, between your in-laws and everything. So if you have a problem, raise it with your partner and then let them carry it on from there.
These guys have said it. It's just so sad that I'm the last person to get that. But anyway, just to reaffirm, be very intentional on building relationship with love. If you don't know how to love, sit back, think about it. Let the Lord help you love yourself. But teach yourself how to love, build relationships with that. Then the rest will revolve around that. The in-laws.
And last but not least, be the in-law you want to have.
Yes.
Just be the
Wow. Hey, wrap it up then.
See you again next week for the next episode of Save My Marriage with the Lee Buanas.
Yes, sir.
Cheers to saving marriages.
Yay! Marriages are work.
They are work.
To better in-laws that we are.
Better in-laws.
Bye-bye, guys.
Again, you may have to give some headache. Yes.
The Save My Marriage show has been recorded at the Highland Suites Apartment Hotel on Chania Avenue, Kilimani.